In this video, we're going to talk about disability. As a person who experiences a mental illness, I've received pushback from many people for identifying as disabled. Yet, accepting that the mental illness that I experience has had a limiting effect on my life in ways that have directed my life choices has been a really essential part of my own mental health recovery and personal flourishing. Disability is defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act as a mental or physical condition that limits one or more major life activities. If you think back to our video, Mental Health, Mental Illness, and Mental Health Consumers, you might recognize that the definition of disability is almost identical to the working definition of serious mental illness. Sometimes people balk at the concept of disability, as though disability is a state of mind. Yet, disability is a designation with real and meaningful criteria. So let's talk through why the designation disability matters. Having a disability designation allows for government assistance that provides vital economic supports like access to stable and safe housing. Also, mandatory reporter laws only apply for minors, seniors, and individuals who experience disability. This means that having a disability designation protects individuals who experience mental illness from neglect, abuse, and exploitation. Just as an aside, every citizen in Texas is a mandatory reporter. That means that you are a mandatory reporter of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of a minor, a person over the age of 65, and anyone who experiences a disability. So, just to clarify how closely disability and mental illnesses are associated with each other, let's recall the Supreme Court case Olmstead v. LC. We talked about this Supreme Court case in our video about community-based care. The legal grounds for ruling against institutionalization in Olmstead v. LC was that institutionalization violated the civil rights that are established in the Americans with Disabilities Act. An alternative definition of disability uses a three-pronged framework. Disability impairs a person's bodily functions, limits their daily activities, and restricts their social participation. How disability affects social participation is the aspect of mental illness that we should be most conscious of at church. Groups will often justify excluding individuals who experience mental illness from employment and from group membership based on what the group perceives to be a normal range of limitation. Accepting my own range of limitations has been an essential component of my mental health recovery. I have to know what I can do and the range of my personal limitation in order to manage my symptoms so that I can live in mental health recovery. But here's the thing, only I can determine what a normal range of limitation is for me. As a church, we unintentionally give messaging about what we believe is a normal range of limitations, what we believe people should be able to do. Sometimes church can feel like it's structured for high performers. The basic forms of social involvement at church are weekly attendance on Sundays, possibly coupled with another hour of Sunday school, volunteering in a ministry, attending a midweek small group or Bible study, and tithing. These are kind of the big four of the getting plugged in plan. The amount of time, strength, attention span, access to transportation, assumption of income. These can seem alienating to someone who is disabled by mental illness. It can feel like social acceptance at church is based on one's ability. It can feel like belonging to the body of Christ depends on the ability of one's own body. Okay, I want to clarify what I do not mean when I talk about the activities of the church that can feel like ableism. I do not mean that the church shouldn't do, promote, or encourage attendance, participation, and giving. In fact, these are the very opportunities for social participation that are so valuable to people who experience serious mental illness and might not have access to these types of opportunities were they not available at church. The church is not at fault here, but let me tell you what I mean. Christians must understand that feelings of stigmatization, limitation, and unworthiness can be triggered at church. But that doesn't mean that the church needs to change its getting plugged in plan. It just means that we have to express extravagant grace, compassion, and understanding to individuals who experience mental illness. So let's recap. Disabilities affect a person's bodily functions, their daily activities, and their social participation. While many people do not associate mental illness with disability, it is the Americans with Disabilities Act that has extended civil rights to individuals with mental illnesses in extremely life-saving ways. The disability designation provides economic supports, it protects from abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and it also facilitates mental health recovery by allowing a person to embrace their own normal range of limitations. Churches should be conscientious of how disability and mental illness affect a person's social participation. If you missed it, you can go back to our video, Mental Health Words to Know, Mental Health, Mental Illness, and Mental Health Consumers, so that you can gain a better understanding of disability in the context of mental illness. Don't forget to put your questions in the comments below. And if you want to share your experiences, please remember to protect your own privacy. If the content in this video has brought up any uncomfortable emotions for you, please call one of our counselors at the Hope Counseling Center. The number is on the screen. If you need any additional resources for yourself or someone that you know, we have links to additional resources in the description box below.